What's up, YouTube? You're watching Epic Luco, and welcome to my top 5 or bottom 5 worst movies of last year. So you're probably asking yourself, why are you doing a top 5? Shouldn't it be like a top 10 like your best movies? Well, honestly, I didn't really see that many bad movies, luckily. But I did see a couple bad movies, and boy, were most of them bad. Now, keep in mind, these are movies that I saw last year. Again, they're not as much because I didn't see that many bad movies last year. So keep in mind, yeah, this is also my opinion and all that, but whatever, it's the internet, so nobody cares. Anyways, I have two dishonorable mentions, and one of them is Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Now, honestly, this movie isn't that bad. It sets up the second part pretty well, but even that doesn't really hold up for the incredibly boring parts in this movie that I really was checking my watch over and over again in the theater. Couldn't wait to get out because it was so boring, wasn't it? You weren't there because they don't allow the cats in the theater. But yeah, it was incredibly boring. So yeah, next is honorable mention. Dumb and Dumber 2. The long-awaited sequel of Dumb and Dumber, which is one of my favorite comedies. Man, they screwed it up this time. The only redeemable quality of this movie was the chemistry between Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, which was fantastic. It was always in the first movie, so yeah. But the rest of this movie sucked, pretty much, because it pretty much ripped off the first movie, and not in a good way either. The characters, aside from Lloyd and Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, I forgot their names. Oops. Sucked. Especially the person they were looking for. She was so annoying and just hot face, right? I'll put you down in 5 minutes. Is that okay? Give you that. Movie sucked. At number 5, we have a movie that kind of polarized a lot of people. I was kind of in the middle when I first saw it, and then when I saw it a second time, moved into the hating category, and that was The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, I thought the first Amazing Spider-Man was great. I thought it was a fantastic remake to the other movies, which, in my opinion, I thought were really cheesy and kind of just followed the comic book a little too much. This one actually let its reins go a little while, and turned out to be a great reboot. But man, the sequel. Oh boy, the sequel. Not to say that there are good moments in the sequel, like the action's great, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone's chemistry is fantastic and electric and great, but way too many characters, way too many juggled plot points. The climax is terrible, and yeah, a lot of it was handled very, very badly. That's why it's at my number 5. We can thank Twilight and the Hunger Games for this movie. At number 4, we have Divergent. Yeah, we're continuing with the young adult book adaptation movies, and usually they suck. Sometimes they don't. But this one, in particular, sucks. Now, again, to be honest, this movie doesn't have that many terrible parts of it. There are a couple good parts, like the main leads are okay. Some of the action is kind of enthralling. But for the most part, it's just a slow build to really nothing. Nothing really happens in it. It's the boring dystopian thing, which I love dystopian futures, but they've made it so boring over the past few years, really. And really nothing changes to help it stand out. It's just another young adult book adaptation, as I said. Skip this one, really. They're coming out with a sequel for some reason. I don't get why people go and see these movies, but stay away from it if you don't like those kind of movies. But yeah, whatever. That was my number 4. At number 3, we have an animated movie. An animated movie that was a sequel to a pretty okay animated movie that was a couple years ago. But does not hold up because Rio 2 really sucked. And once again, This movie, again, has some good moments in it. And that is the animation and the music. That's it. The rest of the movie almost completely rips off from the first movie. It has nothing interesting in it. The characters suck. Like, I hate most of the characters in this movie, like, a lot. Except for maybe the villain. He gets a couple laughs here and there. That's another thing. The laugh meter was so low in this movie. So boring. And so stupid. But again, the music and the animation was enough to keep my attention, and it was enough to keep my little sister's attention, so yeah, I guess it wins on that part. But for me, Rio 2, just nothing to stand out, nothing to be good against it. Blue Sky just keeps shitting out these terrible movies, and here's another one. So yeah, number 3, Rio 2. Coming in at number 2 was a movie I actually saw pretty recently. That's because I needed another movie to fit on this list, because I knew that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was going to be awful. I knew exactly what I was expecting. Michael Bay produced it, and I knew that he was just going to put his little stupid, smudgy fingerprints all over it, and you can easily see that. The story is absolute shit. The characters suck. That was just my elbow. Calm down. The CGI in it is disgusting. The turtles look like Shrek. Yeah, I know. You're high five. I will put you down in a second. I gotta talk about shitty movies though. Splinter looks ugly. I mean, so did the turtles, but Splinter just, God, he looks so terribly ugly. My cat is writhing in my lap. It's more interesting than talking about Ninja Turtles. Oh my. I mean, some of the turtles have some good chemistry. A couple good laughs, and that is the only compliment I can give that movie. Other than that, it's a complete shit fest. Don't watch it unless you're a gigantic fan of the source material. It is a terrible movie, and I really hope it doesn't get a sequel, which I think it's going to, but whatever. It sucks. However, it doesn't suck as much as my number 1 pick does. This movie was so bad that I went out of the movie pissed off that I saw it. Pissed off to know that more movies like this are going to be made. More movies like this are going to follow the same path that this movie followed. You want to know what that movie is? You really want to know what that movie is? Okay, I'll tell you. My number 1 pick for worst movie of 2014 is Transformers: Age of Extinction. Man, what can I say about this movie that nobody else has said? Oh yeah, everything that everybody else has said about this movie. It sucks. They need to stop making these movies now. Michael Bay needs to just go away and hide under a rock where nobody can find him. That's crooked. Nobody can find him, so he can't make movies anymore. He can go make stupid rock castles or whatever the fuck he's good at, because really there's nothing he can do other than explode everything. Maybe he can blow up some rocks in the wilderness where nobody can find him. I truly do hate him now, because he doesn't care about anything he puts out. He doesn't give a shit what other people think of his movies. All he cares about is money. All he cares about is making the same exact movie over and over and over again with no consequences, no constructive criticism whatsoever. He doesn't give two shits what any of his fan base thinks about or what critics think about. He doesn't read reviews. He doesn't do anything to be different. He doesn't stand out at all. The only thing he wins are Razzies. He's gonna win a ton this year because this movie sucks. It sucks hard. It sucks a lot. I could say it sucks so many different ways, but you guys know it, hopefully, because Transformers Age of Extinction stinks. You want to know the only good part of it? The only good part of it. The one thing that stands out about it. That's it. God, I'm so happy I got that out of my system. I really hated a lot of these movies, especially the last two. But really, I mean, I'm happy I didn't get to see more because I think I would have blown my lid. I hate seeing bad movies for the most part, unless they're really funny, like The Room. But these are not like The Room. We're like The Room. So that was my top 5 or bottom 5 worst movies of last year. What did you guys think of this list? What were some of your worst movies of last year? Leave your list down in the comments. Talk about it among yourselves. And that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Click the subscribe button to see more videos that I've done. And we'll see you next time. Oh, stop it. Ow! What are you doing? You gonna jump? Don't do it. Don't suicide. Is it a cat?